You can't just jump into open water and expect things to work out perfectly. Unfortunately, when you're trying to balance a lot of these things, some things might need more attention than others. Other things might need less attention than others, depending on the day. If you have certain goals that you need to meet for work, if you have certain goals that you need to meet for your personal life, if you have certain goals that you need to meet just for your life in general, you need to have plans for those goals. Welcome back to Infinitely Balanced. We're going to be talking about finding your balance in work, life, and personal goals. My name is Adelisa. Let's dive into this topic. Everyone has different goals. Everyone has different ideas of what success is. So everyone's going to have a different roadmap, but the key is that everyone has their own roadmap. Everybody needs to have some sort of direction so we don't feel lost, so we don't feel like we're kind of spread too thin over certain areas, and we don't feel like we're neglecting other things. I need to have balance with my work, life, and personal goals, because if I don't, I get overwhelmed and I end up feeling like I have too much shit on my plate, and I end up feeling like I'm not doing enough for certain things. This is where priorities come in. Your priorities all need to line up with your work, life, and personal goals. They all need to intersect. If there's something that is in your work goals or your life goals that doesn't really go together, it might be time to adjust things and make a better plan for what you need to be doing. For me, I need to work out. For me, I need to eat better, sleep better, spend more time on myself, self-care, and work on my career. I don't have time for playtime. I don't really have time to go out and party. That's just not part of my goals anymore. That used to be part of my everyday life, was going out and having fun. But I wasn't really celebrating anything. There was nothing to celebrate. It was just kind of avoiding what I needed to work on. Life is short. We have shit that we need to do for ourselves, and we have shit that we need to do that makes us happy. And going out all the time did not make me happy. That did not align with my work, life, and personal goals. That did not align with who I wanted to be. When you finally remove the things that are on your to-do list that don't need to be on your to-do list, you end up prioritizing the things that you actually care about. Like, you have career goals that you need to focus on right now. Maybe school isn't for you. You have school goals right now. Maybe work isn't for you. You have self-love goals right now. So maybe a relationship isn't for you, because if you don't love yourself, you shouldn't be in a relationship. There's a lot of ways that we always end up spreading ourselves thin because we start prioritizing stupid shit that has nothing to do with our goals. That's why you have to always keep your eyes on some sort of prize, whether it's like a really big picture or a vision board or something that you have made at the beginning or the end of the year that you want to use and remember, like, what am I doing this for? You need to always have some reason, a purpose of why you're doing what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to wonder, why am I doing what I'm doing? What is the purpose of this thing that I'm doing today? Why do I need to clean my house? You need to clean your house so that you have a better area and space to live your life in a stress-free way. There's lots of reasons why we have to have these tiny goals that are going to amount to our bigger goals in the future, because these are just like little stepping stones, little foundations to what we actually want to achieve in life. Setting achievable goals and setting realistic goals for yourself are going to set you up to actually feel like you're succeeding somewhere in life. If you continue to set yourself goals that are at the moment too high for you to reach, you're going to end up feeling like a failure and you're not doing anything right. Obviously, we all want $1 million. Obviously, we all want to be super successful, but we need smaller goals that are going to be stepping stones to get to that bigger goal. And these smaller stones are going to be easy things that you can attain within a week, within a month, or within 6 months, whichever one it is. But these are little stepping stones that we all need. So that's why it's good to set attainable goals that are easy to achieve, that add to your bigger picture. I'm always stressing to my friends about planning or setting certain goals for yourselves when you're trying to achieve certain things. I'm really good at planning for social media. Sometimes I suck at executing certain things because I set really big goals for myself, but I know that I could reach these goals. So I set things that might be big for some people, but other people, they're like, that's a big ass goal that you should not be setting yet. But I set these big ass goals because I know that I can achieve them. And I try to tell my friends to do the same thing by setting goals that they personally can achieve. I don't tell people that they should set their goals like I set my goals. I think it's important to use the time that you have when you are setting your goals, because we all have different schedules. We all have different jobs. Some people work a 9 to 5 and they have to make time for certain goals in their lives, and sometimes doing that, they have to remove certain distractions or go a different direction in what they were already doing. But that's why setting goals and having a bit of a plan can help you not feel so stressed about what you're supposed to do in your life and what the purpose is. Time management is important, planning is important, organization is important. You need to have 1 million calendars or 1 million journals like I do. Notion is another great app to use if you are trying to do like content, you're trying to plan things, but Notion's actually great for like daily tasks and if you're just trying to kind of time block your schedule and what you're trying to do with your life. For me, if I don't write things down and actually make a plan, I'm not going to get anything done, because all of a sudden the day has gone away from me and it's 7 p.m. and I didn't do anything on my to-do list that I wanted to do. I need to write shit down. I think a lot of people will benefit from learning to write things down and time block. This isn't something I've done my whole life. This is something I taught myself within the last few years, that I need to make plans and goals and a strategy for how I'm gonna get to what I'm gonna get to. If you're trying to have a goal of saving money, that is too broad of a goal. That's not attainable, because you are kind of just throwing it out into the abyss. If you want to set X amount of money, so you just say, I'm going to save $10,000 in 3 months. You have now put that goal down on a piece of paper, and you are now putting that goal down as a manifestation of what's really going to come. So now when you write that big goal, I want to save $10,000 in 6 months. Now on a week-to-week basis, you can write goals of how you're going to save within those weeks to get to that $10,000 goal, or what you need to do in those days. You have to start breaking things down like that, because all of our days start to kind of mesh together if we don't have plans and goals and we don't know how to balance things in our life. All of a sudden life gets away from us, work gets away from us, personal relationships get away from us, because we didn't prioritize what we needed to prioritize. And all of a sudden we're 50 years old and we're like, where the fuck did the time go? Within your work life and personal goals, you need to have self-care in those goals. You can't just keep going on autopilot and hitting all these goals, and within that you are not taking care of yourself, and you're not appreciating yourself, and you're not appreciating and taking care of your body. If you're eating like shit, you're not working out, you're not doing self-care, doing your nails, dressing nice, whatever it is, a lot of these things matter for your own mental health. Your mental health is a big umbrella that is important for your goals. If underneath this umbrella you're hitting all these successful points, you're gonna start to reach a success and feel empty and sad and feel like you didn't get to actually pour into your own cup into so many fucking ways, because you didn't do your self-care, and now you have all these little trophies that you won, but now you're bald, you didn't take care of your hair, your skin's fucked up because you didn't take care of your skin, you don't know how to dress, you're barely bathing, or you're barely eating what you're supposed to be eating, you're overweight, whatever it is. There's a lot of things on your to-do list that need to involve self-care. I think self-care in so many aspects needs to be intertwined within our daily routines every single fucking day. You can't skip any sort of self-care. Self-care is so important. If you're not taking care of yourself, who's gonna take care of you if you're not doing it yourself? Sure, you have money in your bank, but now nobody wants to talk to you because you smell like onions all the time. You get what I'm saying? Okay. But even beyond that, you still need to set some time just for yourself, just to relax or meditate or just take a fucking breather. Yes, you're gonna be go, go, go because you have this list of things, but at the same time, because you are prioritizing, you are scheduling, you have to-do lists, and you have this balance, you know where you're gonna have time to do self-care and self-love rituals. You know that from 7 to 9 p.m. you have this time where you can do whatever you want, and it's a time of leisure. It's a time that you could take a breather for yourself, you could take a bath, you could do some skincare, you can read, you can play video games. But that only happens when you have a plan for the rest of your life as well, and for the rest of your goals, and how you're gonna find this delicate balance of all these things. Everyone's life is different. Everyone has different goals, like I said. Everyone has different dreams. Everyone has already a different schedule that they have set for themselves. But that doesn't mean that we can't prioritize our time and actually use our time wisely. That's why it's so important to have this balance of your work, personal, relationship, whatever your goals are. It is so important to have a balance between all these things, simply because then that way you can also make more time for yourself. You can always make more time for yourself if you know where you have time to make time for yourself. If all of a sudden your days are getting away from you and it's been months since you've done this to yourself, I'm sorry to break it to you, but that is your own fault. That is your own fault for not prioritizing your time and for wasting so much time doing stupid shit, like probably procrastinating on things that you probably could have got done 2 weeks ago and they could have been done out the way. But now instead you are stressing every single week about doing this one thing that you could have had done a long time ago if you just prioritize your damn time. Obviously, sometimes it can get difficult to balance a lot of these things. I think especially with personal life, I think people try to prioritize maybe friendships a little more than they should, or they are prioritizing partying more than they should. It's important to know what your priorities are and what your big goal is. Otherwise, you will end up wasting so much time doing shit that you don't need to be doing, and shit that is not part of your big plan about your big picture. Shifting course and making a whole new plan for yourself isn't scary. To me, honestly, it's refreshing when you try to make a new plan for yourself and try to go a different direction. It's kind of like a fresh start. I think that's why people do the Sunday resets, because it's kind of like you're starting your new week and you're gonna have this new plan for this week. And I think that's a good way to do it too. I think it's good to have kind of like a monthly plan, like that it encompasses what you want to do, but also know that with balance comes adjustments. So on a weekly basis, you might have to switch something up. Something might come up. There might be a time where you might have to put more time into work, or there might be a time where you have to put more time into relationships, or whatever it may be. Because life happens. That's the reality of life. Life thinks that you're going smoothly and you're coasting. Life is like, you know what? Let's throw a challenge at them, see how they handle it. And this is a time where you look at your plan, you're like, okay, where can I adjust? Where can I move things around? Let me not get scared and run away from this challenge that life is throwing at me. Because I know I can handle this shit. I know I have a plan written out, and I know from 3 to 5, I have this time that I got to do this thing. And then that way I can still stay on course to my plans, my priorities, and to balancing my life the way that I want it to be balanced. A lot of people, when they don't make goals or prioritize the things they're supposed to prioritize, like I said, it ends up being 10 years down the line and they feel like they didn't actually accomplish anything that they wanted to accomplish. They realize that they spent the last 10 years of their life working a 9 to 5 that didn't care about them. They realize that they didn't get to reach any of their dreams that they wanted because they didn't set time for these things. They didn't make a plan for the way that they wanted to actually live their lives. And that's why it's so important to stay present in where you are. Don't just go running in your mind and making your entire schedule completely full. You need to have time to stay present and take time to meditate and just think about where you are on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. Reflect back on what you have achieved and what you're doing right and what you might need to change. And that way life doesn't get away from you 10 years down the line and you feel like you didn't do anything you wanted to do. Taking time to just be present and analyzing what has been good is so important to understanding if your goals and your plan is actually working. And that's also a good time to give yourself a little reward. If you realize that for 7 days you stuck to the plan and then you got the results that you wanted, you're gonna be like, oh shit, you know what? I feel good about this fucking week. And I also feel like this plan that I'm making is actually sustainable to my life and that I can actually stick to it. You shouldn't try to overwhelm yourself with too big of plans and too big of goals that don't align with whatever you need to do. Because there's times where you feel like you're doing all the things on your list that you want to do, but then you sit back and on a weekly basis and you reflect and you realize that half those things that you don't really care about or half those things that don't actually matter to your life, maybe that personal trainer that you're seeing isn't actually contributing to your life as you want them to. So now you're like, I can take less time to work out and I can do it my own way. Or maybe you're taking too much time playing video games. Now you decide, you know, reflecting back on last week, I spent too much time playing video games. It was fun, but let me try to narrow it down to only playing like an hour or 2 a week. That's kind of the point of reflection and staying present with yourself, is that way you can be present and reflect on where you have been, where you are, and where you want to go. Remember, all this is about progress. It's not about perfection. You are not going to be amazing at making this life plan for yourself on the first try. On my last video, I talked about failures, and this is also a part of that. Your first plan might suck. Your first plan might not have made any sense. Your first plan is probably not going to be the exact plan that you're going to stick to for the rest of your life, and that is literally okay. You need to be able to adapt to change, even if it's now changing the plan that you originally made. Maybe the plan that you made wasn't that great, and maybe now you need to reprioritize things. That's totally fine. It's okay to reprioritize. It's okay to change your plan if you feel like it's not in alignment with what you want to do right now. Some people decide in the middle of going to school that they no longer want to be in school or go for that degree. You don't need to continue a path that you don't want to go down just to please yourself or please others, just for the fact of getting it done. If it's something that is not going to be for your big goals in life, then you can change your plan, you can adapt, you can go a different direction. It just means replanning and revisiting what matters to you and what doesn't matter to you. As we grow and evolve, a lot of things will change for us. A lot of the ways that we look at things will change for us, and we will realize that certain things that made us happy probably don't make us happy anymore, or certain things that never made us happy make us happy now. Right now, I like reading a lot in my life. I never liked reading when I was a kid, probably because I was being forced. But there's just things that I know that I like to include in my life now, especially reading. So that's something I like to make time for because it's kind of elevating my mind. It's elevating my thought process, especially when it's books that I actually care about. I'm not being forced to read. So there's a time and place to adapt. There's always a time and place that it's okay to make changes in your life, especially if they're positive changes in your life. If you are making a positive change in your life, then that's a great ass change. If you are going down a path that is making you stressed out or it's making you do shit that you don't want to do, change the path. It's totally okay to completely change directions. I hope these insights on finding the balance of work life and personal goals resonated with you. It's a balance of becoming infinitely balanced in our lives. All of us have different goals and all of us have different dreams and aspirations, so we're all gonna have different plans, but we're all capable of doing it. I know you are too. So my name's Adelisa. If you want to continue to be infinitely balanced in life, go ahead and subscribe, like, and comment what your goals are for 2024. I'm here to help. I'm here to do the best that I can in helping you achieve your goals and your plans and your big missions on this planet. If I can help in some way, that is what I would like to do. Shit. My sneeze just fucked me up. not comfortable, not having a good time. I'm just not having a good time.